Well, good morning from sagebrush country in the Owyhee deserts of northern Nevada. It's a big chunk of country, about 65 miles wide and 35 miles deep. It's framed by the Santa Rosa Mountains on the west and the Bull Run Mountains on the east, with a lot of sagebrush country in between. I came through here over 30 years ago doing some vegetation mapping. I was then struck by the remoteness of this place, the solitude of it, and I have been meaning to get back ever since. So I'm going to go look around again and invite you to ride along. Just starting the trip. The meadowlarks are celebrating. Just wanted to show you an example of how one person driving at the wrong time when the road's wet can really tear it up. A lot of clay soils out here really hold the moisture, really make for poor traction when they're wet. And so you can really make a mess of things. And you know, granted, sometimes you get stuck out here in a rain shower, you need to make your way out, but boy, if you can avoid it, it sure keeps the road in a lot better shape for the rest of us. So I'm on BLM land here and going through an old burn for miles. It's a big one. Overall, I've been pretty impressed with the restoration of it. This is some Great Basin wild rye, this big grass here. There's other perennial grasses as you're looking out across there. Looks like wheatgrass. There is some annual kind of invasive forbs, which, you know, is kind of to be expected, including some cheatgrass over there, that brownish patch of grass you can see. But I think overall, BLM's done a good job of restoring this burn. So I've been going just north of the Tuscarora Mountains. They're just south of me here. There's some peaks over 8,000 feet in this little mountain range. You can see there's still snow on some of them. It's early June. What struck me when I came through here 30 years ago is the amount of shrub and grass and the absence of trees in some of these northern Nevada mountains. And you know, I was vegetation mapping, so honestly, I found it fascinating just to see where some of this shrub and grass grew. And it's fun to see it again. So I just went through this big group of Mormon crickets. They're not a cricket. You've heard me talk about them before in other videos. They're actually a katydid. Most of these you're seeing are about an inch to an inch and a half long. One, I think, disgusting thing about them is they're cannibals. So I came through and crunched that little guy, and look at him feasting on him. See that? So if you go down, you better watch out in this group. There was the front step once upon a time. Walked into here. A lot of work went into that rock once upon a time. Here's the other entrance. Looks like it had a basement. Seems to me the outhouse was a little close to the water source. And it was a two-seater. Some handsome Great Basin sagebrush in here. Here's the ruin from the other side. Pretty substantial structure for its day. You know, one thing I've learned from enjoying sagebrush country is there's beauty wherever you want to look for it. And I just wanted to stop and show you the sky here. These wide open spaces, you really get to see and appreciate the expanse of the sky. Storm's gone through, so you see the lingering storm clouds and you can hear the wind. But in every direction you look, you got that really cool sky to appreciate. You ever see a fence with these markers on the top rung? They're visibility markers to help sage grouse not strike the fence. You know, they adapted in this environment with no fences or obstructions. They usually fly low to the ground. They'll smack a fence. So those help them see it and go up and over it. So I just showed you those sage grouse markers on the top rung of that fence. I went through this gate, glanced back there, and my eye caught that right away. I thought it was lights for a second, but that is those sage grouse markers blowing in the wind and that sun catching it just right, reflecting it over here. Just really cool. I encountered this wild horse that was running straight at me, which I'd never quite seen before. At first I thought it was a stallion that was kind of challenging me being in his territory, but as it ran around me, I could tell it was a mare, so still not sure what it wanted from me, but it just kept hanging with me. There's another wild horse way out there. Look how dust flies when they run. And again, this one's kind of running at me. Way out there, you probably can't quite catch it. There's 2 or 3 more running. Huh, interesting. Okay, there's a huge herd of wild horses running out there, and all that dust you can see is from those horses. My word. Just a running. It's one of those times I wish I had a little more magnification for you. Sagebrush as far as I can see. Well, I saw this from a long ways away. It's kind of up on a ridge. You know, no surprise. Water's the limiting factor out here in the desert. And this is a water source with dead bird in it. That's not good. I'll have to get that out. Just a little bit of water coming in. I did see a few cows close to this, so they're hanging around this water source, and it's got a holding tank. And I see a bird nest up there and some feathers ruffling. Looks like there's a dead crow up there. And then here is the big solar panel that's powering all this thing. So there's our water source. Home sweet home tonight. Not very fancy, but my lights ran out, so time to make camp. There's a little, that's a better horned lark. I just love these bare patches on the roads. South Fork of the Little Humboldt River with a sketchy bridge to cross, but it's good to be in a valley with some water and some green. Again, enjoying some greenness down the riparian area. There's some willows growing there. And I just wanted to point out, this is the quote main unquote road. It's little traveled back in here. And some of those other roads I showed you, the 2-track roads, are really overgrown, get very little traffic. So it's a good place for solitude. Been following this little Humboldt River just down this valley here. It's going to end in a reservoir, so when I get there, I'll show you. Boy, these kind of things stand out. A big old cottonwood just growing by itself in a pocket. And the reason it stands out is there's not another tree, at least from this vantage point in the whole valley. I mentioned earlier the Santa Rosa Mountains are on the west side of this Owyhee Desert, and they're still snow covered up high. They are the wettest mountain range in Nevada, so they've still got a lot of snow to melt. Not a lot of forest on them. We'll go take a look one day, but for now, cool to see him getting closer. First car I've passed the entire trip.